Hello, everyone. This is Kelly Arnold, Senior Solution Consultant here at SA Global, and today I'm going to talk about Dynamics 365 Sales Hub, specifically the feature of sequences. Now, if you were not aware, there was a feature called Playbooks that was the predecessor to sequences, and it will be deprecated starting July 7th, 2023. And it was a really great feature to assist sales folks on their journey to the sale. Um, However, with that deprecation, it's probably a good time to start moving over if you haven't already to sequences. And this is a good time to, kind of clean up and, maybe even make improvements. So you're going to want to look at your playbooks and decide what you would like to recreate. And then once you do so, this is how you're going to go ahead and create your sequences. So first thing is you're going to navigate to your Sales Hub app. And from there, you're going to go into your Sales Insight settings area. And from there, you'll see under here is sequences. And if for some reason you don't see that, there might be some permissions issues or initial enablement issues that you want to work with your admin on. But once you have access, this is really great because it can allow more than just a configurator or somebody who has those abilities. This is really at the forefront for UI creation. So starting here, you would click on adding a new sequence. And another thing that's really great about this is that you can use templates to get started. There are some out-of-box templates here that you can see for various record types, including contact and opportunity, lead, of course, account. Um, so this is also a great way you can create templates for your team to help them get started. But for today, I'm going to go ahead and just start from blank. And of course, every record, everything that we want has to have a sequence name. So I'm going to start with kind of a lead introduction, if you will. And since this is going to be lead, we're going to choose the record type lead. So I didn't have to change anything, but I could change it if I wanted to. And then I'm going to hit next, and that will create the sequence so I can get started here in the designer. And of course, what's something really cool here is you can also use LinkedIn integration. Today I won't be showing that, but you'll see that when we get into the designer. So really, this is a very simple designer that you will just essentially click the plus sign to add actions or elements as you wish. So I'm going to go ahead and get started here. And there's a lot of different, so you can see here's just the basic steps. So if you want it to execute something, or you can go on to conditions where it's going to decide whether it goes on or not, and there'll be a kind of a branch of yes or no. And then again, commands where okay, once this happens, a little bit different than steps, but you'll see how that works. It's some of the effort on the actual data itself, right? So if you want it to go to another sequence or update a field, and then there's that LinkedIn, which we aren't going to show, but this is some of the options that you would have there. So to start, I'm going to pick send an automated email. So we're going to consider the scenario. Maybe this is, someone filling out a web form, a contact us. And so right away, we want to just see if they're interested. And of course, we also have uh, some of the new features such as text message here. Again, I won't be showing those today, but those are really great and they work similarly to these emails. So the first thing I want to do is I want to add this automated email, and this is something that you can again add a template for, or actually in this case, since it's automated, you have to because no one is going to author this email. And so because of that, you're going to want to use a template that has essentially everything pulled into it. If you were to add a template, say this one that we'll use in a moment, this has information that you would want somebody to, a salesperson to add to before sending. So in this case, we're just going to use this standard kind of out of box template and apply. And then we'll just name this, initial email or something. Okay, so then from there, we can go on to our next step. And here's where, we can start to add different conditions. So, you know, once we send that email, it's and this is smart in that it looks at the action above. And once we send that email, we want to advance in the sequence based on what they do with it. Okay? And so that one of the most basic is, did they open it? So we want to make sure they're opening it first. And here is where we can kind of define how we want to advance. And in this case, let's give them maybe a day um, to open the email. So we don't want to just clobber them right away. Or maybe let's give them 2 days. And then once they have 2 days, if they've opened it within 2 days, they will go down the yes path. If not, then they're going to go down this no path. And so, maybe they haven't opened um, the email yet. So now we want to send them a follow-up email. Or I'm sorry, yes, they've opened the email. So we'll come back to we want to send up a follow-up email. So they've opened the email. And so now what should the salesperson do? Well, maybe now it's time to go ahead and try to make a phone call. So we're going to go ahead and ask them to set up that first phone call. And, you could put whatever description you wanted to in here. And from that phone call, we may want to determine what happens next based on the phone call itself. And so here we can add an advanced phone condition. And we can say, well, if the phone call was made or received, right? So you can actually create a phone call record, but the status may not be, it might have been it missed or something. So we want to make sure that it actually happened before we moved on down to this yes. And then from there, we can even start to do some really cool things like, and this is where that command comes in. We could advance to another sequence, or we can update this field. And this is something that's pretty common. You might want to, set up that the initial communication has been completed. And so in this case, we're going to say, yes, they've been contacted, and it automatically does that so the salesperson can focus on, the important value add activities. And we can keep going here, but I want to go one more over to what if they didn't open the email and just add one more item here where maybe I want to now set up an email, that other type of template where it was a little more involved. So it's not going to be an automatic email. This is where you're going to have your salesperson fill out some of this information. And this is where we can say, we'll call this the follow-up email. So this is really all it takes. It's very simple. You can make it as complex as possible. There was a lot more options that we didn't go over. You can have tasks, you can have wait time. Something I think is really cool. All this email engagement is really great. And you even have business process stages that you can evaluate. So there's a lot of items in here that I would definitely recommend checking out. But to get this up and running, the last steps are to hit save. And then once that is saved, you will hit activate and it'll be ready to go. So now I can hit activate. And once it's activated, then I can set up other rules that say, should this be the default? I can just manually apply it. So there's a lot of different ways that you can use these sequences. So I highly recommend that you evaluate your playbooks and see what you need to get started with. And if you need any assistance, of course, reach out to us and we will help you out. Thanks so much.